UFC Fight Night Paris, Moicano versus Saint Denis just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card. And this was a pretty fun card. It at least got really good towards the end. We're going to start straight away with the early prelim opener of Chris Duncan versus Bolaji Oki. Now, I went with Bolaji Oki because I said he would be way faster than Chris Duncan on the feet and wouldn't get taken down. I kind of had it, but put himself in a guillotine in round one. On the feet, he was a lot faster than Chris Duncan, and Duncan didn't really have an answer to him. Like, Bolaji Oki was stinging him with straight punches throughout the round, but Duncan is a very dense guy for the division. Like, he's a dense unit of a guy for the division, and Bolaji Oki didn't seem much taller than him or rangier than him, but seemed a lot thinner than him in general. So Chris Duncan was able to sort of get what he wanted as Oki went for these takedowns. And he eventually got a guillotine in the first round. There was some weirdness around this guillotine, though. Even though he got back up and then Oji went back for the second one, he got the guillotine in. And then I guess Oki went out, but Duncan didn't know he was out. Like, just before he got out of the guillotine, he went to sleep, which makes sense because the squeeze that's on you as you're about to escape the guillotine is usually the tightest squeeze, because you're trying to rear your head backwards and it's creating sort of more pressure, and then you like pop your head out. But Duncan didn't realize he was out cold at first, so he let go of the guillotine and went, all right, I'm going to try and get back up to my feet. Wait, this guy's out cold on top of me. The ref didn't realize either until Duncan said, he's out, and then Chris Duncan gets the win by guillotine and gets a performance bonus. So good for Chris Duncan. He got himself a nice 50k bonus on top of his... Chris Duncan's a weird one to me because I'm still yet to see him do anything good. I'm going to be real with you guys. But the guy's 4-2 in the UFC now. So, no, he's not. He's better than that. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Like, it's interesting, dude. So we'll see what happens with Chris Duncan moving forward. I'm still not on board to like be picking this guy against anyone good, but you can't deny it. The guy finds a way to win. He's one of those guys, I guess. We move on. Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Nora Cornolle. I actually thought Nora Cornolle got the edge here. Very close fight, though. They didn't go her way. I thought they would. I was just glancing at it while I was getting ready for it because this was early. I had to be up at like 5 p.m. for this, guys. What, am I some maniac being up at that time after years of ruining my schedule? I thought she was landing more in the early 2 rounds. She got a takedown as well. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? I guess they were valuing her stuffing a lot of the takedowns. Cavalcanti stuffing a lot of the takedowns. She finished strong in the 3rd round. She landed more upstairs. It was a bit of a nothing fight. It wasn't the best to watch. They all stood around with their hands up at the end like they'd just been to war for 3 rounds. It wasn't that at all. Yeah, I went with Nora Cornolle. It went the other way. Not going to scream and shout about it like I will about the Gomis Brito one, but it is what it is. We move on. Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. I went with Victor Altamirano, and dare I say, guys, he should have won as well. Like, I felt like he was starting to break Barez as it went on. Another thing I was glancing at, and, you know, Barez did get a knockdown in the fight, showing improved striking, because that's not really something we've seen from him in the past. He got the 1st round knockdown, but I thought the 2nd and 3rd. I thought the 2nd, but it was good. I get it, you know. I understand. It's all good. I get it. I get it. He was beating the hell out of him, knocking him down. It's close, innit? I'm not going to complain too hard. 3rd round, it looked like Victor Altamirano was starting to get his pace together. It is what it is. These are the fights that are very skim-overable on the card. But you know what I should have done? I knew it was going to be close, and I was saying Altamirano's going to win these last 2 rounds. You know what I mean? He's going to edge the fight by the last 2 rounds on damage. Barez didn't even barely shoot takedowns in the fight, so that was shocking to me. But I should have been like, okay, it's the Spanish guy. It might be close, and they're going to give it to him because they have no Spanish talent, and they need it if they want to go to Spain. So it is what it is. Yeah. Good performance by him. He got a win in the UFC. That's huge for Spain. You know, they actually have another fighter other than Ilia Topuria and Joel Alvarez. So, and Chris Barnett. People forget, man. He's Spanish, man. We move on. Ailin Perez versus Darya Zeleznyakova. So they're striking on the feet, and then Ailin Perez keeps getting Darya Zeleznyakova got a takedown. Ailin Perez gets takedowns back, gets on top, submits her with an arm triangle, shakes her ass all over the place. Great to watch. Their highlight took place after the fight was called off, dare I say. She missed weight, though. Not a good look, but can you blame her for missing weight with all that cake? And I'm not talking about what she was eating before the weigh-ins, okay? Here's what it is, isn't it? What is there to say? What is there to say about this fight other than that she shook her ass? This is the thing with women's MMA. She got her down. She got the submission. Kaput. Not really much to it other than that. I was speed getting ready for this, looking like, okay, let's see if she shakes it, if she wins. I don't want to miss this live. You know what I mean? And, yeah. Ailin Perez shook her ass after a win, you guys. What more is there to say? Did she get a performance bonus for this? This is something I want to question, because I happen to notice that Moicano didn't get one. No. She didn't. Kind of based from the UFC. Oh, she missed weight. Of course she can't get a performance bonus. But either way, Ailin Perez, do her versus Tracy Cortez. They've been beefing back and forth. That's a no-brainer of a matchup. Let us see that matchup, because I'm really interested in how their styles will match up against each other. And I really want to see how they use their technique and fight IQ to break down the opposing fighter's game plan. I'm joking. But I really want to see that fight, you guys. I think that'd be a really good one. So I'm really amped for that matchup. So, yeah, let's do that. Ailin Perez versus, yeah. Wait, this is at bantamweight. Fuck it, dude. Tracy Cortez, move up. You're holding it back. Add cake. You know what I'm saying? Move up. We meet in the middle, you know? Catch weight. Whatever it needs to be. They're beefing. They should scrap. Otherwise, what else is there to be interested about? Either way, we move on. Up the card, Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. I went with Taylor Lapilus by decision. He won by decision. Vince Morales was getting takedowns here and there, but didn't do an awful lot with them. And just got picked apart on the outside by Taylor Lapilus. Lapilus has been doing what he does, you know what I mean? He just schools people on the outside. It's not crazy to watch, but, yeah. He's good at it, you know what I mean? Keeping his range, keeping his distance. Knees up the middle were landing a lot for him in this fight. Just picking at the face of Vince Morales for the entire fight. Morales tried to put the pressure on him in moments. Even in the third round, he started emptying it, trying to pour on the pressure at the end of the fight, but just wasn't good enough. Lapilus was stinging him all over the place with shots at range, and that was about it, to be honest with you. Again, Morales did fuck all with the takedowns. 30-27, Taylor Lapilus. There ain't much to discuss in some of these, okay? But in others, there are. So, good win by Taylor Lapilus. I liked his shot selection. It was good. He looked clean out there, you know what I mean? He looked like a clean technical striker. Probably one of his better performances, but probably his least good opponent that he's fought as well. So, I don't think I said he would school him, did I? I said it would be competitive because Morales won't go away. So, it will be a decision, and Morales will put it on him and try and pressure him, but he just didn't do it effectively in any way whatsoever. So, really good win from Taylor Lapilus, I guess. And, yeah, that's about it. We move on. Up the card. Ludovit Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. I went with Ludovit Klein. This was a close fight, actually. A weirdly close fight. Now, I get giving the first round to Klein, but I thought Roosevelt was landing some pretty good shots on the feet in round one. Like, consistently landing some pretty decent shots. And I gave the second and the third round to Klein. Klein in the second round kicked out the leg from underneath Roosevelt Roberts. Controlled him for the whole round pretty much. Definitely his round. Just easily won that round. But it could have been Roberts in the first round. And in the third round, it was going okay. And then Klein sort of picked it up towards the end of the round and kept himself ahead. He was doing better than Roosevelt Roberts, but I thought Roberts would get smoked in the first round in this fight. So maybe I was just being shocked by him posing any level of danger at all. But, yeah, there were moments where it was very competitive on the feet. Like, Roberts wasn't getting destroyed by Klein on the feet. Klein had to get in the clinch and throw elbows on the break and work in the clinch with knees and get his takedowns and get on top where he'd land a few good shots in moments. And that's where Klein kind of won this fight in the first and third round. Whereas at range, it felt like Roosevelt was the one landing good peppering straight right hands, right on the chin. So yeah, good job by Ludovit Klein. Was it the type of performance that says this guy's ready for the rankings? No, it wasn't in any way at all. We need another opponent outside the rankings for him. I don't know who that opponent's going to be. But Ludovit Klein is a good prospect. This puts him on a how many fight win streak? I think this puts him on like a 4-fight win streak. He's beat Bahamondes. He beat Thiago Moises already. He might even be on a 5-fight win streak, to be honest with you. He didn't beat Nate Landwehr, though, a while ago at featherweight. But at lightweight, he seems a lot more stocky. Can take damage. Can go 3 rounds a lot easier. He's not draining himself. He couldn't go 3 rounds at featherweight, it felt like. Or maybe he just couldn't go 3 with Nate Landwehr, because he's got different level cardio. So I would suggest like a Ludovit Klein versus Joel Alvarez fight if they're going to go to Spain. Maybe a Ludovit Klein versus a Gene Silva. You know what I mean? A Ludovit Klein versus a Bobby Green. A Ludovit Klein versus a Grant Dawson if he wins his next fight. Like, there's a lot of matchups they can make. I'm sorry I'm snorting again. It's become a huge problem. My nose is too small to breathe out of while I speak. It's annoying me. But there you go. So good win by Ludovit Klein. Not the performance we were expecting from him, though. That's to say the least. We move on. Oumar Sy versus Woon Jung. Oumar Sy looked good. Now, I know it wasn't the domination that people were expecting because he was such a big favorite and he's hyped up and he's a phenom athlete. He's great. You know, he's well trained. He's got all this, like, he's got experience coming into the UFC. He's not just some 4-0 guy that they've signed up. Like, he's got experience. He's dominating everyone. This one, he didn't dominate. Round 1, Woon Jung landed some pretty crispy shots on him. But what was happening throughout the fight that really got a little bit unnoticed was Oumar Sy chewing up Woon Jung's leg with low kicks. Now, he couldn't really get the grappling off as much, but he eventually just abandoned the grappling altogether. He tried a lot in round 1. He got a takedown in round 1. He tried then again afterwards, but he couldn't get them. And then early in round 2, he was trying them. And then at the end of round 3, he started pushing for him as well. But he started to give up on it and started to just focus on his stand-up. He was low kicking Woon Jung very well. Woon Jung was stinging him with punches. Oumar Sy wasn't really connecting too good with the punches early on in the fight for the first half of it. And he looked like he cracked Woon Jung at the end of the second and started pouring it on. Woon Jung's chin is crazy. It just is. He took shots very, very well and stayed in the fight. Even a big knee up the middle to the face that he took at one point as well when Oumar Sy was trying to go for the finish. And then Oumar just went back to tapping him at range in the third and low kicks, and Woon Jung would land a shot now and again to show that he's still in it, and then Oumar Sy would shoot in and get the takedown, and Woon Jung would get right back up, and Oumar Sy would hold on to his waist, and that was kind of the fight. You know what I mean? The low kicks really were the fight. He had a very Cyril Gane-esque performance. Really good job by Oumar Sy. It was good to see more of him, because he's an athletic guy. He's a big dude. He's strong. Kind of like a Jailton Almeida knockoff, if you will. So it's kind of annoying to just see these like fatties get tossed around by him. And then we have to be like, this guy's really good. But now he fought a good opponent that was actually resistant to him. We can say, oh no, he's actually good. He's well trained. He has skill. You know what I mean? This isn't just an athlete ragdolling a big fatty at light heavyweight. You know what I mean? So good job from Oumar Sy. Definitely kept the hype alive, but no finish means not a crazy amount of push from the UFC is going to be given. So we move on. Up the card, Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. He's so back. Ion Cutelaba is so back. Now, I was worried about the decision in this fight because he didn't technically get scored a knockdown in this fight. That's something that needs to be said. And Ivan Erslan won the third round because he controlled Cutelaba for the majority of the third round with takedowns. And Cutelaba just couldn't really get back up to his feet. I think Cutelaba actually lost position off the top at one point and ended up on his back. And he just kind of lost it from there and couldn't really get the fight back in his favor. But I thought Erslan was doing the slicker work in round 1 in terms of cracking Cutelaba, but I get that Cutelaba hit him with a shot that made him stumble off balance and drop. That can be the differentiator in the round, I guess. I don't think it was a concussive knockdown. Erslan got right back up and sort of laughed it off and got right back to his slick work. He actually looked like a very capable fighter, which is why I picked him. But Cutelaba did enough in the image of the judges to win round 1 by knocking him down and stumbling him backwards with another shot. But he was missing a lot in round 1. And I was worried that he was going to gas out again. But then in round 2, Cutelaba entered what's known as flow state. Now, it was a Cutelaba flow state. So it wasn't like a crazy thing, you know what I mean? But the spinning back fists were coming out from Cutelaba, you know? The big overhands, the pretending to be rocked. He was pulling out all the old classics that we've seen across the last few years and grown to know and love, okay? He was pulling out the Cutelaba classics. The takedowns were good in round 2. The control was good in round 2. A little bit too over-eager on taking the back. He ended up falling off the top at the end of round 2. But great round from him. He looked good in the first 2 rounds. Edged it out. Got the shots that put him off balance and put him down. He wins the round because of that. Round 3 wasn't the best for him, but he put a lot of energy into round 1. He threw 72 shots, and they were all trying to KO Erslan. And landed like 25% of them, so... yeah, good job by Cutelaba. He got the job done by split decision. It's good to see him keep his job, because it would have been sad to see him go, you know? He's still young. He's not even 30 yet, I don't think, so... we'll see if he can improve and make a bit of a run. It starts now. We move on. Wow, there's a lot of fights on this card. Ziam versus Matt Frevola. Ziam just schooled him. Round 1, it got a bit tricky for him because Frevola got the takedown and he got mount from like a guillotine that he pulled. And I thought, oh, he's got mount. This is great. Dude, I'm telling you. Mount is no longer... unless you're Manny Moicano... and you're ready to take the back when they scramble. Mount, a lot of the time these days, feels like a useless position to take. Honestly, it does. It really does. Back in the day, if someone got mount in a UFC fight, the fight was typically over. They've got mount, the guy can't get up, they're being battered, it's over. When someone goes from half guard to mount in modern day UFC, sure they can get ground and pound off, but like... 9 times out of 10, the guy just bucks out of it from on bottom and ends up on top or ends up in a different situation that's better for him. Like, mount doesn't seem to be the fight-ending position we once knew and loved. Okay? But then Ziam started getting his own back in round 1, landing good shots. Round 2, he starts landing really good shots, elbows stepping in, knees to the body in the clinch. He's way bigger than, you know, I noticed it immediately in the fight how much taller he was than Frevola. Frevola looked tiny out there. But he's a stocky guy. But Frevola was just overswinging everything. Like, he had no game plan out there, you know? There was no, like, I'm going to chop the legs first, chop him down, and then I'll start going for the big shots upstairs. Or I'm going to dig to the body and then start winging him over the top as he starts lowering his hands. I'm going to get a takedown. He only tried 3 of them in terms of takedowns. I'm going to get a takedown, and then I'm going to go for the big shot over the top. You know, there was none of that from Matt Frevola. Like, it was just, I'm just going to swing overhands at this guy. Like, I've not been doing a training camp on a game plan for the past however many weeks it's been. Like, I didn't understand the game plan from Matt Frevola, and ended up punishing him in the end, because nearly in the second round, he got rear naked choked. And then in the third round, I literally was like, come on, Paris, give us a finish. Because we didn't really have a nice one yet. We had the Chris Duncan one, but it wasn't a nice, tasty KO. And I prayed for a nice, tasty KO. And Ziam flattened him with a knee. So nasty. Lifted a knee right up into his chin. Flatlined him with it. Follow-up shots not needed, but he went for him anyway. Absolutely nasty knee from Ziam. Right up the middle. Performance bonus guaranteed. Got it. In the bag. One of the better KOs of the year so far. Sparked him with a knee up the middle. It was like on a clinch separation almost. Or like, Frevola started doing the thing that he does. And listen, man, I've been interacting with Matt Frevola a bit on Twitter. You know, we're getting along. You know? But I just got to say it, dude. Frevola does this thing where he just starts running away with his hands down. And it's how he got caught by the head kick from Benoit Saint Denis. But he just starts, like, galloping away with his hands by his waist. I'm like, dude. Swear, you're in a fight right now, dude. And Ziam caught him with a knee up the middle on the break from a clinch, like as he was about to start running away and trying to get distance again. It was tough. Really nasty KO from Ziam. We move on. Morgan Charriere versus Gabriel Miranda. Morgan Charriere wins the fight. Round 1 was actually pretty competitive. I gave it to Charriere, but Miranda was doing all right for how terrible he was looking. I was actually saying to myself, like, how has Charriere not put this guy out cold yet? Because The guy was pulling guard from clinch. In MMA, like, these jiu-jitsu guys need to have their ass whooped and understand reality a little bit more than when they get into the UFC. I'm going to pull guard and he's trapped in my world. No, little bro, he's going to posture and hit you in the fucking face. You nerd. You Brazilian jiu-jitsu soy nerd. Sorry. I just don't understand why he was doing that. And then Charriere would hit him a few times, a bunch of times, and then he would get back up and start running at Charriere again and landing some shots, but Charriere just stayed patient. And then in round 2, early in round 2 actually, they both started trading on the feet. And Gabriel Miranda went for a spinning back fist, and Charriere just waited for him to be done pirouetting like a fucking ballerina, and then caught him with a left hook straight on the chin, put him down, put him away with follow-up shots. Nasty KO by Morgan Charriere, gets a 50k performance bonus. Big money for Morgan Charriere there. He's a huge star in France as well. He's appeared in a lot of rappers' music videos over there, and then they would like do their edits with the rappers' songs to his KOs, and he has some good looking KOs on the regional scene. And his record doesn't represent how good he is. He arguably got robbed by Shep Mariscal. Like, he's actually pretty decent. And so's Vucenic, who's better. And so's Paul Hughes, who's better, because they both beat him on the regional scene. But what I'm saying is his record looks bad because he actually took on some good comp at regionals. He also lost to some cans, but you know, he's good. We'll see you later. No, we'll move on up the card. Brian Battle versus Kevin Joussett. Now, the fight is the fight. Round 1 was close. Joussett can get round 1 in a close way, but I thought Battle was doing the shots that got a reaction out of Joussett a little bit better. Joussett was landing crisp shots that would twist the head of Brian Battle. Pop his head back, spin his jaw. He was landing the cleaner shots out of the two of them. And actually, to the start of round 1, Battle started just holding him against the cage. And I was like, what is he doing? Okay, maybe he's trying to drown this guy with pace. Maybe that's the game plan he's going for. And sure enough, in round 2, the pace was unleashed by Brian Battle. Joussett was staying in there, landing shots that would snap Battle's head back, but he just didn't have the power to put him away. And Brian Battle just started going off. 10-punch combination, 10-punch combination, 10-punch combination. He landed 71 of 113 in round 2. And it didn't even make the distance of round 2. There was still like a minute and a bit left of the round when he got the finish. And he'd landed 71 of 113. That's insane. Poured on the pressure, picked up the pace. Joussett was landing good low kicks in the fight, but they stopped because Battle kept backing him up and landing his jab on him. And Joussett was trying to be clean and like strategic and pick the shots really well. And then Battle just walked him down and kept the volume on him and made it messy and got the better of it. So really good job by Brian Battle. Finishes by standing TKO in the second round over Kevin Joussett. And then calls out the whole French crowd on the mic. Great stuff. Calls Paris a dump. It is. It really is. We can't say why. It's illegal to say why. But it is an absolute dump. He walked out to so-and-so's in Paris. Apparently he's going to get fined for it. Another reason to hate France. It's just like, I don't know, a great call out from Brian Battle on the mic. Trashes everyone. Trashes everything in the arena. And, yeah, really good stuff from Brian Battle. Ain't no way I'm going to let a French whoop me or something like that, you know. It was like a beat off to cartoons thing from Sean Strickland, one of those lines. Can't remember exactly the quote that he went for, but he was going off on the mic. So really good job by Brian Battle. I say give him a fight against an MVP or something, like someone who's going to be at the bottom of the rankings at welterweight that needs a big name. Battle might be that name. He's put together some good wins recently. No contest to Angelusa, but we all know it was a win. He's on 3 of his last 4, including that no contest. He lost to Renat, but before that he had 3 in a row. Maybe it's time to move him up the rankings a bit, you know. Or maybe you give him like a Michael Morales or a Nicholas Dalby, one of those types of tests. Who knows? We move on. Up the card to another fight, which was William Gomis versus Joe Anderson Brito. I'm annoyed by this because I don't give a fuck about Gomis. He did good, yeah? And he kept in the fight. Round 1, they were even on significant strikes. I know Gomis had control time. But Brito had the takedown in the first place. And Brito had the back of Gomis for a moment before he fell off of it. Landed the better shots on the feet with the inside low kicks and the overhands towards the end of the round, where he's pressuring Gomis back, and Gomis is going, please no, basically, for the whole round. That counts. That should count. But the thing that counts the most in round 1, that needs to be mentioned, submissions that aren't in, whatever, image, like visual submissions from Miranda. Brito had a locked-in guillotine at the end of round 1 that Gomis would not have escaped if not for the round ending. Locked-in guillotine, under the chin, full crank, no arm in, straight up, great crank on the guillotine. That's a fight-ending guillotine. The bell sounds. That should give him that first round. Round 2, he wins the round. Pressure him forward, landing the better shots. Gomis is also landing. I do want to point out, Gomis is landing on him. Body kicks. Missed a few front kicks up the middle, but they were getting close. Landed some good straight left hands as Brito came in, but Brito would crash back with another shot that would send Gomis running again. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm French. But then he starts running. Yeah, I'm the new type of French. Yeah, running around on the outside of the cage. Brito gets him down in round 2, controls him for a long time. Has an arm triangle that's not in at first, but then it becomes in later on when he gets a better angle on it. That counts. He wins round 2. Round 3. I don't think he won round 3. I thought he got picked apart in round 3. He had a moment at the end where he would push for a takedown and pressure up against the cage and overswing to like show like a good strong end to the round. But early in that round, he was getting picked apart by Gomis. But he won the first 2 rounds undeniably. Brito got robbed. Fuck France. I hate it. The fucking weight cut bullshit with Brendan Allen and Renato Moicano, that fucking backfired, didn't it? Because Moicano whooped his ass. Anyway, it's BS, dude. Don't go back there. Fine in Brian Battle for going heel against the crowd. What type of country are you? Same as the UK. But what type of country are you? Never set foot there ever again. We move on. We got Nassourdine Imavov versus Brendan Allen. I went with Nassourdine Imavov by decision. I said he would win the last 2 rounds. And I said Brendan Allen would delusionally have his hand up when the scorecards were being read. I'd like to think I nailed this one, guys, in my prediction, because I know an idiot when I see one in Brendan Allen. But I will say this. Bullshit with a weight cut thing. He won the first round. Didn't do the damage he should have been doing with the position that he had. We need elbows. That's where we can draw a cut out of Nassourdine Imavov. That's what Moicano was doing. This was the complete opposite. He just held Imavov for the whole round, basically. Inside control. Had mount at one point. Had the back at one point. Lost it. Back to half guard. Full guard. Back to side control. Need the body a few times to show that he was busy. But he just didn't do the damaging. Like, if you have that position and there's a minute left on the clock, you've won the round. Risk a few elbows. Cut the guy open. Do something that's going to help you as the rounds go on. Round 2, it's the Brendan Allen failing takedown show. We know it too well. It's been on repeat since his debut. You know, this show's just, they put this on too much. I've already seen this episode before. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is Imavov's great takedown defense in round 2. Massively improved. Looked like he got caught off guard by the takedown in round 1, which was a big slam. And Allen just shoots. And he doesn't, like, untie himself and get back to the feet or come up in the clinch. He'll just drop to his knees and lose all power in his takedown. That's what he does. Shoots a single leg. Doesn't get it. On his knees. Face to the canvas. Let me let this guy get my back and I'll roll over and be on bottom position. And then lose the whole round on bottom position. And then the guy gets up and you've got an opportunity to stand back up and he'll go, I'm not done being beaten up yet on bottom position, dude. Where you going? Come back. You got to win this fight, remember? It's like, Brendan Allen, get up. Scrap. He actually looked all right on the feet in this fight. But he kept shooting a takedown. Laying there, rolling over, and just letting the guy beat on him for a bit. Like it. Round 3, we'll talk about round 3. Shoddy performance from both, but Imavov looked better with his combinations. Brendan Allen was doing good on the feet in round 3. He would land a big knee up the middle. he would land a good punch, you know? Good few punches connecting on the chin of Nasruddin Imavov. It actually made me maybe change my opinion on how Nasruddin would do against a top comp because, you know, it's a 3-rounder. And if you're like getting hit by those types of shots by Brendan Allen in round 3, what's those types of shots going to look like by Dricus in round 4? This is what we got to start to consider. And Baraujo just showed he can go 5, you know? So it's tricky when you get into those later rounds for Imavov, I guess. But, I don't know, man. I just think Brendan Allen threw it away for himself a lot. Like, maybe he wouldn't have won if he didn't shoot the takedowns. But he would have had a better chance. He would crack Imavov on the feet with a good knee up the middle or a good punch. And I'm like, oh, he tagged him. Oh, he's fucking failing a single leg again and rolling to his back. What's he doing? Oh, he cracked him with a good left hand. He actually landed there. Oh, he's fucking sniffing the canvas, failing a single leg again. Fair enough, exhausted. The weigh-in shit was horrible, corrupt. Paris should be investigated. The commission should never be allowed to host an MMA event ever again. I truly believe that. Never again should they ever go back there. Great crowd, though. I will say that. They need to shift about the commission, though. Get them jobs gone. They need to be fired, is what I was looking for there. Shift about the commission. Get them jobs gone. Either way. They need to take their jobs. That's what they need to do. They need to take their jobs in France. And Imavov just won. Good for him. Landed the better shots in the 3rd round. More of them as well. Stuffing the takedowns. Allen, you got to understand, even if you're making it, if he made this closer and did better on the feet in the 3rd, and it was a situation where you could be like, this is close. One thing that's not going to help him is when he's laying on his fucking ass after failing a takedown, looking up and going, flopping to his back. That's just a bad look. The IQ of Brendan Allen is his biggest enemy. We move on. Moicano whooped up on Saint Denis. Great performance. Probably the best performance of his career. Got the takedown in the 1st round after exchanged a few shots. And then just got dominant position and beat the hell out of him. Brendan Allen. Lock in. Get some damage off. This is almost a mirror matchup. You know? Not quite, but, you know. The 1st round, like, you had the same positions Moicano had, but you didn't have mount or back take as much. But go for them. Get them. Do damage. Don't just lay on a guy. When you're on top of someone in MMA, I might do a whole video on this. There's a new style where we have to find every bit of grappling entertaining if they, like, because otherwise you're a casual if you don't, and no one wants to be seen as a casual anymore. Bruv, get on them and beat their ass. You're in top position. You've got gravity on your side. Elbow them, cut them open, create damage, swell an eye shut. The guy's not fighting the same way for the next 2 rounds if he does make it out of the round. Moicano did just that. Got on top, destroyed Benoit Saint Denis in round 1, 10-8 round across the board on all judges' scorecards. Destroys him, swells up his face shut, cuts him open on 2 different areas, on the forehead, on the eye. This eye is swollen, this eye is completely shut. They let him go out for round 2. Moicano's coasting, trying to make Benoit miss. Moicano's had a bone sticking out of his shoulder. I think that's been hit there his whole career, but I noticed he wasn't throwing his right hand in the 2nd round. Like, he was just jabbing and moving. Maybe that was his game plan. Like, oh, I can see this guy's eyes swollen shut. If I pepper it with a jab, they're stopping this fight. You know what I mean? So maybe that was Moicano's game plan. He did fail a few takedowns in the 2nd round. So obviously he did want to get it to the ground if he could, because that would have very quickly ended the fight. No way Benoit survives another round of that. But Benoit's tough. He trudged on. He stuck in the fight. And he tried firing back, landed some body shots on Moicano in the 3rd round and a few shots upstairs. But Moicano was always rolling with them and moving backwards out the way of them. And then every now and again, he'd just sting Benoit with a jab. And then it would just be like, oh, God, the eye is getting worse. They're going to stop this in the corner. And they did stop it in the corner. Justified stoppage. Would it have been nice to see a finish and a bit more of it? But the guy's going to lose his eye if that happens, you know what I mean? So, good job by Renato Moicano. Based on the microphone, calls out all this lot, that lot. The president, the prime minister of France. Fucking bitch he is. Fucking hate every leader in Europe. But it's all good. The crowd's cheering for that. You know what I mean? That sums up the world we're in right now. Fuck this guy in charge of our country. Yeah! The whole crowd erupting for different reasons, you know? For very different reasons. A lot of people have different, very politically opposite reasons to hate the leadership of France right now. So he applied to everyone with that one. Smart move, Renato Moicano. Starts listing the books that you guys need to read in a second language. MoneyMoicano.com. $20, £16, discount for his 20th win in the UFC. He pulled it off. We got to start a based economy, and Moicano's in. See you later. Goodbye. Toodle pip. Great win from Moicano. I didn't do great on picks, but you know what? I just want the fighters I like to win these days. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it goes. The picks have been fucking impossible this year. See you later. Especially when I fucking get robbed by Barez and Cavalcanti. You know? Ziam's all of a sudden great. And Frevola can't fight despite just knocking out Dober. Can't beat any lanky opponents. Well, he beat Jalen Turner. It's a piss. Brito gets robbed. What am I supposed to do? See you later. Goodbye. Toodle pip.